crazy Bible study. We've got crazy deals on this crazy new book called The Bible. I, of course, am your co-host, Crazy Ash.
And I'm Crazy Scott.
And I'm Crazy Julian.
Yeah, it's Crazy Bible. We're finally covering Crazy Bible. I mean, I say finally. I mean, this is a film I didn't know existed until yesterday when we were posting about it. But just like seeing the phrase Crazy Bible, it was just like there needs to be a boys Bible study episode called Crazy Bible. Like, it was really important to me that we talked about this one.
Yeah.
Here we are.
And here we are. And we watched together and we have some thoughts. I want to preempt by saying this is another film by Living Waters, The King, Ray Comfort. But we actually have a specific point of information for why we decided to go back to Living Waters today. So I think we should start by conveying that story.
He basically reached out to us.
Basically.
Other three of us were in line for the 100 gecs show.
That's
this
right.
Past Saturday.
We had a boys outing to the 100 gecs concert in Los Angeles this Saturday. Very fun.
And there were two people walking through the lines as we're waiting to get in, handing out, get this, $1 million bills.
Wait.
Welcome to Biden's America.
No wonder nobody wants to work.
Yeah.
It's like they're just printing this stuff.
I've been keeping it in my wallet, and I did when I went to the burger place this afternoon. I did accidentally like pull it out instead of a $10. I mean, I don't think the person. I don't think the person even noticed, but it was just for me personally. It was just like an internally embarrassing moment. You know,
Yeah.
It's not money.
I knew I was going to do that too, so I got rid of mine immediately.
No, I like that it's in my wallet. I want it to be there.
Oh, yeah, I'm keeping it in my wallet.
I don't want to like go to give a shelterless person money and accidentally pull that out.
I
be
would
like,
say
you don't want this.
you would be giving this.
Maybe you need it.
It links you to free movies, though.
Yeah.
Also, I thought it was cool they still put Benjamin Franklin on it. Like, they were like, if any guy deserves to be on two different bills, it's Ben Franklin.
Does he believe in God?
He went to like satanic orgies and stuff, right?
Did he?
I'm pretty sure he like went to orgies.
That doesn't mean he didn't believe in God.
Right, but by his own admission, he's an adulterer and a fornicator.
Right. Jesus said if you look at a woman with lust, you commit adultery with her in your heart. Have you ever looked at a woman with lust?
Of course.
Have you had sex at a marriage?
Yes.
So, Eric, I'm not judging you, but you've just told me you're a lying thief, a blasphemer, a fornicator, and an adulterer at heart.
I guess if you have to believe in Satan, you have to believe in God, right?
Well, he like performatively didn't believe in God, so he could get the lightning to strike where he wanted it to.
Right, yeah.
Okay, well, first of all, yeah. So we're in the line for 100 gecs. Actually, you guys got this bill like just before I got there, but we did get past the famous Living Waters $1 million fake bill that was used in the movie Audacity, which we've covered for the show. There's a scene where the main Christian gives servers these fake $100 bills.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, $1 million bills, and they say, guess I can retire.
Yeah, he tips with it.
Yeah. And, in our excitement, we didn't really, we were honestly so excited to receive the bills. We kind of didn't really I mean, you're not always ready to just be on in the moment. And we did not, kidnap these poor representatives of Living Waters to basically do a live podcast on the spot in line for 100 gecs.
I regret that.
We regret it, but what's to be done? We were just ready to get we were pre-gaming and ready to get hyper popped out. We were not on the clock at that time. But what did they look like? What? Because I didn't even get to see them. But what vibes were they?
Just like your average youth leaders, I would say.
Yeah,
not like youth pastors, even just people you would see at I don't know, some kind of bigger youth conference thing.
Yeah. They were both wearing orange hoodies, and the guy had a NBA hoodie on.
Yeah, which would have been a good
was really funny.
in for you and I, Julian, with the Generic MBA.
It's so casual. I don't know why it cracked me up. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, they did not have the camera and microphone ready, so they were not interviewing people.
No, we
like
couldn't
they
have
do.
made it into one of his doxploitation movies, sadly.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll get him next time.
But I would have liked to get into some of the nuts and bolts. Like, do you see Ray Comfort on a daily basis?
Yes.
Is he cool?
Yeah.
Were you an atheist before you met Ray Comfort, etc.?
He lives in Orange County, right?
Yeah, I think so. Because a lot of his videos take place on Huntington Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely around. I have a feeling like it won't be the last time we encounter him, but we did get inspired to cover Living Waters once again. I'm pretty sure that most people listening are familiar in some capacity with Ray Comfort. We've already covered him at length in our episodes for Audacity and an early episode we did on Christmas Gone Viral.
The trailer specifically.
Specifically the trailer for Christmas Gone Viral, which we actually saw as a standalone work of art. The episode we did, I will just spoil, consists of us just repeatedly watching the trailer for Christmas Gone Viral and observing new details every time, which is a very fun exercise. So, I won't do too much introduction. He's an insufferable New Zealand man who now lives in California, who has
Just
one
like
of the
Bilbo
most
Baggins.
sort of the Bilbo Baggins of Christianity. And he is extremely famous, notorious for his many speeches where he claims that the banana is a symbol of God's influence on earth because it has a handle, among other things. We've all been there a million times. We all know. We all love Ray. We love Ray. Like, he is very successful. This video has 1 million views alone. This half-hour film, Crazy Bible, has 1.1 million views alone. His channel has I don't know how many tens of millions of views.
Yeah. Well, at the end of this video, at the time, he said it was over 60 million. So
I'm sure it's much more even.
Gotta be way more now.
Yeah. So he knows what the fuck he's doing. He's a very prolific and popular content creator, even though many people may not have heard of him. He's still one of the biggest names in Christian content creation. And we love him. So let's get into it. I mean, I guess just any more details about this $1 million bill, fullyfreefilms.com.
Yes, which I mean, the fullyfreefilms.com could go to anything. If you hand me a piece of paper that says fullyfreefilms.com on it, I'm going to be looking at it within the next 5 minutes.
Absolutely.
It goes directly to livingwaters.com, which is the other URL
right
on the bill. And so it was important to me that we picked out a film from the front page of that, to do the full experience, right?
Absolutely.
They're giving you the URL in person. They want you to watch one of the movies that it directly goes to.
Yeah. We followed the clues.
Exactly.
Yeah. We're taking part in the experience that the representatives of Living Waters wanted. Well, in that case, Crazy Bible.
The Bible's not crazy, dude.
Yeah, I already have a point of issue with this movie from the get-go.
It's not that crazy. It's not like Enter the Void or something.
It's not like Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah. It's not crazy if a bunch of people believe it,
Well, that's a really good point because Ray starts this film by it opens with titles that are in 12-point Arial fonts that just keep zooming in on the screen. Yeah. I love, first of all, that the title just says Crazy Bible, and it's just straight up oh yeah, it's Tacoma Sands or whatever the fuck
on a black background.
It's really, really sick. But it starts with the phrase, "The secret code to the world's most hated book." I'm going to start out, Ray's anti-lying.
Yeah.
It's simply not the world's most hated book. In fact, it's one of the world's most popular books.
That is true.
Well, do you think just by sheer numbers it could be the world's most hated book?
Maybe, probably.
If it's the world's most read book, then it Like maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, there's people who like, people may not read, Dan Brown, but they don't hate it. But a lot of people don't read the Bible and they hate it.
I see what you're saying.
So by like it's like sort of like the recall where like Larry Elder would have won with like, he could have won with like 15% of the vote. Like, he wasn't the number one choice, but he was the closest second.
Right.
Yeah. And I don't know what that analogy is, but
well,
I think it goes in line with most of the analogies in this.
I was going to say, wait, hold on. You're saying that there's a very loosely drawn analogy that is supposed to
off the top of my head.
Yeah, and I think that's actually very thematically appropriate to the movie we just looked at today.
So yeah, very could be the most hated book.
Sure. Okay. You know what? You've convinced me. You know why? Because I'm just a blank sponge of a person that you're speaking to, and anything you say with enough confidence and just like filibustering, I will believe. And that's another deep.
There's
theme
a
of this
little
movie.
thing called science. I use it as an adjective.
Okay, so the film opens by saying we're going to get the secret code to the world's most hated book. Every Ray Comfort film is an amazing mix of structure, tone, visual storytelling style. We will try to attempt to analyze this as the episode goes on because Ray Comfort's one of my favorite filmmakers. I think of the people we cover on the show, he's got to be one of the most talented editors and filmmakers. What can we say in general to his style of filmmaking? Because he's straight up an auteur genius.
He makes doxploitation, and I think lots of people do, but I never would have thought about that without his very straightforward way of doing that.
Yeah. I don't know where his documentaries fall in the timeline of YouTube documentaries, but his are very much in that, this one especially, where it was showing clips and then having just the little text pop up at different, I see that in so many fucking videos now.
Right.
Yeah.
He's probably very YouTube influenced.
And just taking news clips and taking them out of context to have somebody be I believe in the devil.
And also combining that with just a couple minute segments of fully unedited YouTube videos that in typical Ray trademark style, he puts on a watermark that says courtesy of YouTube at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen.
Courtesy of YouTube.
He's really a forerunner in using information as a feeling instead of as information.
Yeah, yeah. That especially when you see the clips taken out of context where people are just saying things, but he has right before it, he's going to be here's evidence of scientists saying stupid things.
Right.
And then it's just I don't know. None of it seemed that crazy. I didn't really understand what the point of that section was, but it was just clips of people speaking pompously over circus music.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say maybe the biggest picture thing, and I think this is pretty generous to even try to summarize the general scope of this. But what I think he was trying to say is that, anyone who hates the Bible is arrogant, and anyone who loves the Bible is meek and humble, and it's okay that they're stupid because that's a good thing.
The story about the kids, dude.
I definitely want to get to that. I do want to start though by talking about the beginning where he takes aim at some familiar foes in the Ray Comfort universe, which is, of course, the many atheist, skeptical, and or liberal pundits who go on TV and denounce the Bible. We see some very familiar faces in the very beginning of this film.
All the most beloved and likable people on the left.
Yep.
Bill Maher.
Bill Maher is
Penn
here.
Jillette.
Steven Pinker.
Steven Pinker, noted Epstein associate Steven Pinker.
Who is he?
He is this fucking scientist, sort of like scientist celebrity guy who is often used as like a liberal intellectual talking head in things. I don't really know what his like defining work is, but he's one of those people, you know, like Neil deGrasse Tyson, where he is sort of like people have decided he's like photogenic in some way. He's charismatic in some way. He's just sort of arbitrarily like, you know, designated to be like a pundit who represents like science, and famous for being in Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book. And, but you know,
this guy.
I think more importantly, all you really need to know is that his last book, which is from 2021, is called Rationality.
Boring. Toilet flushing noise. The person who he ends up taking the most aim at in the beginning is Penn Jillette. He accuses Penn Jillette of literally denying him 3 times.
Penn, I actually took you up on your offer. 3 times I asked you to come and sit down with me, and 3 times you refused. Then I received an email from your manager that talked about your New York attorneys becoming involved if we publicly released the footage. For some reason, you didn't want anyone to see it.
Which he doesn't explicitly make this parallel, but it can't be ignored that this is very similar to the story of Peter denying Christ.
Yeah, Peter Jillette in the Bible.
Penn is actually short for Peter.
The picture of him the picture they keep showing of him speaking to him outside of a venue or whatever is so funny. It looks like the picture of when Lee Harvey Oswald got shot. Or like if you looked at a still of Reagan getting attempted assassinated.
Yeah.
It's an awesome picture.
It's a really good picture. Ray is so good at creating iconic imagistic moments by doing things like taking a random in motion frame from a video and screen capping it and then using it like 5 times to represent like that a scenario happened. It's like
his choices of stills were as good as anything he's done.
Absolutely.
In this video.
And that's like what's so magic about him, because like Scott, like when you and I choose the stills for like our movies for, you know, Instagram, like I'm not saying that like, you know, we're geniuses at it, but I know that both you and I try to do things like very intentionally pick like when someone's in motion, like picking like an aspect where it like makes sense, where for instance they don't look like blurry or they have like a strange look on their face.
Right.
And this is where we're failing. Like this is like Ray is running circles around us in views, and it's because he just fucking does it. Like we should just tap into his like editing zone, because like he, you know, the way that like Jack Kerouac, you know, allegedly wrote like On the Road, like on amphetamines, he just typed it up in like one, you know, sitting over a 24-hour period or whatever. I'm not saying he's on amphetamines, but like that's basically how Ray Comfort works, right? He just doesn't hold back. He just starts at the beginning and then goes to the end, you know?
Yeah.
Like he's a fucking content creation legend. Like it's so amazing. Yeah. Penn Jillette, this transitions into him introducing a character who will play a big part in the video, which is someone I'd never heard of, but I'm sure has quite a bit of views. A YouTube atheist named Jacqueline Glenn.
Yes.
Jacqueline Glenn.
I was not familiar with her either.
I was not familiar with her, and I know why, because I would not want to watch in full any one of her videos. Her videos seem exactly like I'm just going to say like the exact type of content that we all have tried specifically to avoid in creating this show. Like we look at someone like Jacqueline Glenn and we're like, we don't want our show to be like that.
Yeah.
Like it's the opposite of what we're trying to do, because there's so much bad atheist content out there.
Yeah. She seems like, I thought at some point I was going to be convinced that she was a psyop by Living Waters.
Yes.
Because it's just like that kind of atheist who is just like, look at this Christian. They're so dumb. They're so stupid.
Yep.
And then they're like, why don't these Christians ever listen to me?
Yes. And how many videos of this type are there? And they all have like 900,000 views for some reason. Like, it just blows my mind because it's like the exact opposite of content. Like, this is when Ray is at his most sympathetic, when he's like showing clips from these people. That amazing clip he played out of context from Jacqueline's video where she goes on like a 3-minute rant that makes no sense, where she's like, "You, sir, deserve more than an insult. I could insult you, sir, but an insult wouldn't be good enough for you, sir." She says "sir" like 50 times.
Resign now.
Yeah, exactly.
I make fun of people like you, okay? I take idiotic extremists like you and make them look like a fool. Listen, sometimes people like you deserve to be insulted, okay? Sometimes people are worthy of being insulted in the worst possible way, and you are at the top of that list. Because you, sir, are certainly deserving of insults. But you know what? You deserve worse than that, in my opinion, because you want to know why? You are so entirely that calling you stupid isn't good enough. You are a liar. You are a con man. This guy's a scam artist. He's conning you.
And then she swears, and there's text on the screen that says expletive that grows out of the screen with an explosion sound instead of a bleep, which is
cool.
Brilliant editing.
It overlapped over like 4 words, dude.
But then, like, the second time he does it, you can, like, clearly hear her say the word fucking. Like, he's so good at editing. Like, yeah, the first time she makes an expletive, he just mutes the entire sentence she says. But then, like, the second time, he just, like, edits the space right before it. So you can just clearly hear her say the word fucking. It's so good. I don't even know necessarily if he, like, watches the films before he exports them. Like, I think he just, like, which is great.
Yeah.
I could stand to learn something from him. But so the saga between the feud between Ray and Jacqueline Glenn is that they did a bunch of videos back and forth.
He sent her a $100 gift card.
Yeah. Their relationship changes when Glenn just sends her $100 out of the blue.
A fake $100 bill. No, I think it was a real gift card. It was
a real gift card. It was like, I tried to look what it was. I think it was just one of those like prepaid debit cards.
Nice.
Because I didn't see like a Chili's logo on it or anything. But yeah, I don't know. That was very strange. Like, supposed to be evidence of his like goodwill towards people who try to tear him down or something.
Well, that is the thing with somebody who's like boldly, like outspokenly atheist as a personality, is like when you talk like that, it's really easy for a Christian person to be like, "Oh, I don't think poorly of you," and then they're like, "What?"
Right.
Like, it's pretty easy to catch them in that moment. Then.
Yeah,
exactly. Which is like such a thing with Ray Comfort, which is like, I don't know how everyone in the world just plays to Ray Comfort's like script. Everyone he meets on the street who talks to Ray Comfort, like in Audacity, which is all about the LGBTQ quote unquote movement in scare quotes. He talks to various LGBT people in scare quotes, and they say things to him like, "I just appreciate how polite and understanding you were." Like, again, because he does exactly that. Yeah, he takes the most obvious play into being like, "But I'm a nice Christian," and everyone just completely buys it, like hook, line, and sinker. Like, they're like, "Oh wow, that guy was nice." It's like, if you just say you're nice, that doesn't mean you're nice.
Yeah,
like if you just give someone a gift, that doesn't mean you're nice. Like,
even if somebody else says you're nice, that doesn't mean you're nice.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, he used $100 to like make her the main character in his video that gets millions of views. So like, that's
absolutely.
I mean, people just almost striked over that.
Yeah,
that's like how new media operates and takes advantage of people.
That's so true. Yeah, it's so funny, but Jacqueline. The video and Ray uses this video clip, of course, in the movie. That's how we saw it. The video of her unboxing the gift card, and she looks like she's on like the brink of tears. And she's like, "He sent me $100."
So
and
funny.
it's like, I can't believe he did that. Like, I thought he hated me. And the note says like, "I don't hate you, Jacqueline." And she's like, "I would love to make a video with you." Which, honestly, I'm very jealous of her. If there's anything I'm jealous of her in the video, it's because she got to talk to Ray Comfort and make a video with him.
Do you think if we sent Ray Comfort a card and $100 gift card with it that said, Ray, we don't hate you, come on the podcast, he would come on the podcast?
That's a really good question.
You should send him $1 million boys Bible study. With a little devil in the middle.
Now we'll put David A.R. White on it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Oh, man. How can we get Ray on the show? I have already, in the show's infancy, I did a contact request on the Living Waters website, and I did politely ask Ray to come on the show. Of course, he did not respond, or we would have done that already. But
Coward.
Ray seems so excited to go on people's shows who just trash him.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we've gone wrong, is because we're telling our truth, which is that we love Ray.
Yeah. He's a sub.
Yes, Ray is a sub. He's a come hungry sub. Like he wants that he sees like the hatred like spewing forth from someone, and he just wants to swallow it, and he wants to like use it as an opportunity to bounce off of, because he's a heel who can turn face like at a moment's notice.
Yeah.
And I think that that's like our problem at our core. I mean, I think that's our problem in general when it comes to like Christian media, like analysis. I mean, we'll never be just that fucking stereotypical like atheist tearing apart Ray Comfort that he can just play off of. You know what I mean?
Well, as
Should we
long
do
as
it?
somebody's always bringing forward a strong idea, I feel like we'll be intrigued by it.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Like it doesn't matter at all if we like agree with it or not or whatever.
Right.
Let's do it for season 2. Let's become amazing atheists.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe like the way to learn, like I guess I'm just saying this like for the listeners, like listeners, if in the future we do a video that's just us saying to Ray Comfort, you, sir, deserve the death penalty, which I don't believe
Like
in
all
normally, but
Christians.
like all Christians,
Yeah.
which I normally don't believe in for people such as child rapists, but for Christians, I do believe they should be killed. And then Ray Comfort will, of course, come on the show, and we will like be sitting there on Skype talking to him with our mouths agape, like, oh, I can't believe he doesn't hate us. Oh.
Yeah, it sounds fun.
Sounds fun. Jacqueline Glenn, she becomes a major character in this. Now, Ray uses this to hammer down a point which I honestly think we sort of agree with, which is that atheism is a belief system.
An atheist believes the scientific impossibility that nothing created everything. Atheists say that's just not true, that no atheist believes that I'm misrepresenting their position. They maintain that they don't have any beliefs.
What do you have to say about that? Like, what do you have to say about the way that Ray interfaces with atheists in this film?
I feel like the atheists he picked do subscribe to a belief system.
Yeah,
that is
absolutely.
atheism.
Yeah.
I don't know. They really seem to dedicate a large part of their lives to evangelizing atheism and tearing down other beliefs and stuff. I mean, yeah, a lot of religions have problematic elements to them, but that's, the cause of the actors, not the root beliefs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I agree. I agree with you. I think the evangelizing element is so important because
they're just really fucking annoying is the big problem. If they were less fucking annoying, then it would be cool.
right.
Like when we were talking about Ram Dass the other day, when I said like drugs would be legal if he would just have chilled the fuck out, not been so annoying. Like more people would definitely be atheists if these people weren't so fucking annoying.
I mean, that's the story of the human race.
Yeah.
Like, is it possible for anything at all to happen and people not be fucking annoying about it?
Right, because his main thing with every single atheist is, well, how can you believe that something came out of nothing? And they always attempt to answer that.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, whoa, I only know so much, dude.
Yeah, he cherry picks, like, he does this thing where he just cherry picks really obnoxious, like, staunch atheists who won't shut up about it. And then when they like these two separate people who've never met each other in their lives, never communicated about what they like their thoughts about the world and the universe and everything, when they don't align perfectly, he's like, see, the hypocrisy of atheism is evident. Not like you could do that with literally any two people on the earth.
That's so true.
Not like atheists do that to Christians all the time.
Yeah.
That's so true. There's like the one clip where he's interviewing the atheist, and the one atheist is like, yeah, I do believe nothing, something came from nothing. And then it like cuts to a news clip of some famous scientist being like, I no longer think that saying something came from nothing is a proper way to like go about it. Where it's like, yeah, they're not all on the same like email list.
Yeah.
You know? Like people are just fucking saying shit to you. I don't know what to tell you.
Or even when he shows a clip of George Carlin saying, if God's real, then may he strike me down. And then it cuts to the headline from when he died.
It's like 71 years old. It's not like he died suddenly.
Yeah, like everybody dies.
The prime of his life.
I've got to say,
especially considering he had like cancer for like years before that.
It's so funny though. And I think that like that was like maybe an actual ode to George Carlin, because I think George Carlin probably would have thought that was funny.
You think he's operating on that? Ray Comfort is operating on that level of subtlety.
First of all, yes. Second of all, I've got to say, in everything we've watched, I think that might have been the loudest laugh. Like, just it wasn't like a very long laugh. It was a very quick, loud laugh that happened when that transpired on screen. That was fucking funny.
I busted too, my friend.
Comedic timing gold.
It was amazing. I really didn't see that coming. We will absolutely, without a doubt, be posting that 2-second clip to our Twitter and Instagram, so you can just watch it in a loop if you want, because I just personally want to watch it in a loop. It was fantastic. He made what's that?
I was gonna say the thing about like atheists believing in something.
Yes.
He referenced the dictionary.com definition of atheism, where it said like the belief in a lack of God or something.
I love
as if like it's so funny because like he's all about like the Bible is infallible, it's can not be changed or whatever. But like for his definition of atheism, he cites dictionary.com, a document that is constantly being added to and definitions are being changed.
That is classic Ray.
But in the meantime, he's using science as an adjective, so he should also look up science on dictionary.com.
Yeah.
Because he makes points to be like, so how could this scientifically impossible thing happen then unless there's a God? It's like, but if whatever has happened in all of time or whatever, that's just, if you explore that, that's science. Like, I don't know what to...
Yes.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
But isn't that classic Ray? So, like, Ray at his core, regardless of any religious beliefs, I think the thing that Ray at his core believes is the immovability of the English language. Like, to Ray...
A lot of people on the right end of the spectrum of beliefs seem to think that words are concrete things that can never be changed.
Like Ray, what does the word believe mean? Like to Ray, there's only one definition of the word believe. Like just that alone.
The idea that like we all just walked around speaking the same English.
Right there you go.
The same English we speak right now when we were like cavemen and stuff.
Right.
So funny.
Well, even like okay, so just for example, like Scott, I mean we were talking about this during the movie, but you brought up your conversation about Genesis on Snoopy's pod, which I thought was like a really appropriate point, which is like, well, I mean you should say it, but like the word day in the creation story.
Yeah, there's like 2 sentences back to back that use the word day in 3 different ways. And that's in this English translation. And those sentences are also before the sun has been created.
Right.
So it's like that's like leaves a lot up to interpretation. I'm not saying it's like a lie or inaccurate or anything. There's just a lot left up to interpretation.
Exactly. And that's what Ray it's so fun and like simultaneously fun and infuriating about watching Ray talk about anything. It's just that like there's no acknowledgement of that. Like he will just be like, oh yeah, it's a day, it's 7 days, it's a week. And it's just like, no, like look at the paper. And I'm not even trying to do a like, well, the Bible was translated, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Even if we accept that the English Bible, like the English New International Version of the Bible, let's just accept for a moment that is word for word truth. Like that is the real definition of the Bible.
Yeah.
Even right in there, it's like the word day is being used in 3 different times. Like in this paragraph that you can like open up your 2 fingers and like that is the size of the paragraph.
Right.
It's like, Ray, you can't just be like, oh, well, it says right here in dictionary.com that atheism is a belief system.
Yeah.
So like, well, like fucking duh, Ray. Like I'm going to go edit your Wikipedia right now that says like you ran over someone with a car. Like I'm going to do it right now, Ray. Like what do you think about that? Like I don't know
and
what to say.
We only give him shit about this because he will then like follow up these things by saying, now that I have scientifically proven that atheism is a belief.
Yes. He's so infuriating.
He really does not understand what science is at all, as evidenced by what you're referencing earlier, Scott.
Yeah.
But like, would you rather be somebody who like follows science where in 100 years you're going to look like an idiot?
Right.
Or would you like to follow this but if you believe in the Bible, you will never be wrong forever. No one will ever laugh at you. Like the idea that like the allure of the Bible is that when you have been dead for like 30 years, no one's going to be laughing at you. It's so funny.
And by belief in the Bible, he means his specific description of who God is and how God operates.
Yeah. Oh, man. Okay, so I feel like this brings to something that we've sort of said before, but I want to hammer down again because, you know, it's really important to the understanding crazy Bible, which is like, you cannot debate Ray.
No.
You can't talk to Ray. You can't debate Ray.
Many have tried. All have failed.
Many have failed. If I sat with Ray, no contest. Ray would talk circles around me every time because Ray's understanding of communication and language is just like, he has his own rules. Like that's the thing about Ray. Like you can't go to him expecting like anything. You're in Ray's world.
Yeah. I feel like if I got to actually talk to him, I would not attempt to undermine him in any way. I would just attempt to like break the flow of how his mind works.
Yeah. I just want to be like
he has the mental powers of someone who had a really bad fever when they were a kid and now they no longer are operating in the same wavelength as the rest of us.
Okay, like for example, Ray, there's like a 2-minute section where Ray talks about first of all, he cuts in clips of him talking to 2 separate people, meaning that this is material he repeats constantly. And he talks about this story about
the part where he's like in the interview with the YouTube atheist, and then it just keeps cutting to this guy sitting in the trunk of his car. And it never said who that guy was. And he never like responded to anything.
And the editing and his story is so consistent that his editing, it almost seems like he's in the same place at both times, but it's because he's like rehearsed or formulated the story.
He has the power to astrally project.
Yeah, it seems like that from his editing, which by the way is very sloppy, but because his story is so dead on, it actually seems like really clever and consistent. But this story is about an electrician named Fred who's doing the wiring of your house.
There is an easier way, a far easier way to convince you of what the Bible says, and this is it. Imagine I've been building a house for 6 weeks, and I'm getting really annoyed at the electricians because they keep telling me the power will be on next week, next Monday. They leave notes Tuesday, and then another note. It's on Friday, and I'm getting really annoyed with the electricians. And then I get to the building, and I see a note on the door. It says electrical on, Fred. Now, Fred's the boss, and you think, oh, here he goes, another lie from Fred himself. And I'm skeptical. I go in, and I pull the power switch, and the light comes on. The power gave authenticity to the note. It showed me, when the power came on, that the note truly was from the boss. The gospel is the power, and the note is the Bible.
Scott, what was he saying?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I
watched the
I just
movie.
know it's a story about an electrician named Fred.
I'm a very smart person, I think. I'm smarter than, I don't know. I'm dumb enough to believe the Bible, but I'm smart enough to have a podcast? That doesn't make... reverse those two things.
This was his explanation for why we should believe the Bible is written by God, because it just says the Bible by God on the cover.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, I love...
he was like, and I have to believe that it's true because the electrician left a note.
That is classic Ray, which is he introduces a completely fictional scenario.
Yeah.
And he just spends 2 minutes directly looking in your eyes and speaking it to you as if it was the truth that happened to him.
It's like fucking Charles Manson.
Yes, absolutely. It's like interviewing Charles Manson.
Yeah.
Charles Manson looks you in the eyes and for just 5 straight minutes, filibusters. And it's okay, this is the race war is happening, blah, blah, blah. And then he's right? And you just
he's just trying to overload your brain with words.
Yes.
To the point where it fucking your circuits are fried and you're just I'll do anything you tell me to.
Yes.
I'll hand out $1 million bills at the 100 gecs show.
Yeah, that is literally what he does. That is his tactic. And it works on so many people. And it goes to show you that just pure, confidence and also MK Ultra mind tactics.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same stuff the Scientologists use, where
Right.
it's just they'll come up to you if you look like you wear a crazy sweater because they're oh, this person must be an artist. They must be struggling.
Yeah.
So let me start saying a bunch of nonsense words, and because you're lost and confused, you're oh fuck, I don't know about Fred the electrician. I better hang around this guy because I'm missing out on a lot of stuff.
The story, when he's talking about Fred the electrician to a man who, as you said, Julian, is sitting in the trunk of his car, and Ray Comfort would be right, and the guy would be man. It's what, yeah. You're just agreeing, a man's just saying right, and you're just yeah. That's all he's doing.
Ray also does not believe in people being able to agree with you to get you to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that is so true. Yeah. But that's the thing is, I want to talk to Ray, and I don't think I want us to talk to Ray, and I know none of us would be going in to own him, but my dream is for
you can't own him.
Well, no, you literally cannot own him. He's unownable. He's untouchable. But I want him to be Fred the electrician. I just want to be Ray, who is Fred?
Yeah.
Who's Fred? Where'd you get
Explain this metaphor.
Yeah, explain
it. And I just read a book called Death's End, if anybody wants to look it up. It's the third in this trilogy of books. And in it there is a character has to explain scientific concepts to the human race in a way that aliens surveilling the situation won't know that he's explaining to them how to research these
that's neat
things. And it was and then the next 80 pages after this 100-page metaphor was explaining how the metaphors worked on double and triple levels and bait and switch and all this stuff. And still, it was less confusing than the Fred the electrician story.
Dude.
Another confusing element of this whole video was that he's talking about Bible code, but not the one that you are thinking of.
Right.
Yeah. He doesn't, words don't mean, this is why you can't beat him, because words do not mean the same thing to him. It's It's like any fucking YouTube documentary person where they're just like, oh, like fucking coronavirus vaccine people who are like, this edits your DNA, it's going to change your mRNA, which is like part of your DNA. And it's like, well, I know that DNA is something important. So I know that this thing that's a part of it, it must also be important. So like the important word, if I'm like really concerned with that, even though I don't understand what that actually is, then like I can like tell people to like beware.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Cause he's like talking about the Rosetta Stone.
Right.
And like the Bible code and scientifically disproving things. He just throws words around.
Yes, he does.
He's happy to know a new word to use, but he does not know the definitions.
You can throw any idea on YouTube and somebody will be like, I saw this idea on YouTube. A friend of mine is visiting a family in Middle America right now. And their family is Q people. They're QAnoners still.
Sure.
Which is wild to me that people would still like it's debunked
They're
at
still
this
out there.
point.
That's what I've heard.
I mean,
So
would
I
you
hear,
rather
but-
look like an idiot in 100 years when, leftism has been proven
That's
wrong?
a good point. That's a good point. So they my friend's brother-in-law brought up this past week that he just found out about flat Earth and that he saw a guy on YouTube that has 200 reasons why the Earth is flat. So, I mean, 200 reasons. That's a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
That is a lot of reasons, I will have to admit. Okay, me and roommate Jim the other day watched a video called 9 Reasons Why You Might Be a Shaman.
Whoa.
And that was also quite a lot of reasons. And I've got to say, by the end of the video, I was pretty convinced.
That you're a shaman?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay.
There was 9. I fell into at least like 7 of the 9 reasons. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you can just, that's the thing about Ray. Words are fluid when he needs them to be.
Yeah.
And they're also completely immovable when he needs them to be. The
Right.
word believe, there's only one meaning, but the word like Bible code, it's just like, oh, well, that like Rosetta Stone is conceptually just means whatever he wants it to mean.
I always think about our dear friend Brian Country Death.
Mm-hmm.
You should check out his music. Who had say something about like how Joe Rogan was like, you can't just refer to people as they them pronouns or like make up these like new words to describe your sexuality. You can't just make up language. And I remember Brian saying like, that is how language is invented.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
That is how language began. It just still works is you just make up the words.
Yeah, it happens. It happens every day. I mean, like, like every day, like every fucking week online, there's a new meme that like I just can't, like a new way of like combining words together that I can't, like this entire week. It's so stupid, but every time I look at something, I think I know it smell crazy in there. Which is like something people have been saying on Twitter consistently for the last 2 weeks. They're just like shit like that. It just happens all the time.
It's like people who name their kids Brayston. And they're like,
Right.
you can't call somebody they, them.
Well, but before we get out of here today, like we'd be remiss to not bring up like, so why this film is called Crazy Bible. One of the like 10 like central theses of the film that we think it's gotta be, this has gotta be like the thing he's trying to get to, right? No, then like it keeps switching. But I think that the film is called Crazy Bible because, as we all know, certain stories in the Bible are crazy. A snake can't talk to Adam and Eve, right? Unless it had vocal cords. That part when he's like to the guy, but if a snake had vocal cords, could it talk? And he was like, yeah. It's like,
So fun. Don't
bitch,
just agree with him right there,
no,
dude.
it fucking wouldn't. I'm sorry, it wouldn't talk.
But also he leads into that by saying, like, so when a snake wakes up and it's like thinking in its snake language what it's going to do with its day, and it's like kind of thinking it's kind of hungry. And it's like, I don't think a snake thinks the same way you do,
This
dude.
is a dude who heard the term reptilian brain and assumed that it meant that lizards and snakes could think.
Yes.
which is the exact opposite of the definition of reptilian brain.
But that suggests to me too that he does the opposite. He goes the other direction too, but with God, where it's like God thinks just like me, and it's like, what is the concept of a God to you? Like, I don't think that would be the same if I talked to Ray Comfort either.
Absolutely not.
I mean, yeah, that's evident in his like inability to comprehend like the concept of nothingness.
Oh my God! First of all, not to
which he referred to as having heard from. I must have heard that from Disney or something.
Yeah,
is what he says.
The part when he's talking to that one atheist on the beach, and the one atheist is trying to explain to him. By the way, the guy, it's obviously completely out of context, but that guy ends up sounding pretty funny too, because he's like, "There's a difference between nothing and nothing," and Ray Comfort is in the background, heard literally screaming, like, "Oh, what does it mean?"
Space with no atoms in it at all. That would be called nothing. But there's also what's called a nothingness, when you don't even have space. I know that's a little far-fetched. Have you heard that theory before?
Probably from Disney.
No, that's
so this nothing has got something in it. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, even nothingness might have something in it.
Then it's not nothing, Bruce.
That's correct. It's not nothing. It's something.
It's just such an insane clip, but so the Bible stories are crazy, right? A guy getting swallowed by a whale, a snake talking to Adam and Eve. You wouldn't believe that stuff, right? So Ray Comfort asserts that the reason Bible stories are crazy, quote unquote, is because only the humble people believe them. Because if you're arrogant, if you're like one of the liberal scientists who is arrogant and saying like, there's no way a man could there's no way a woman could turn into a pillar of salt, then you're arrogant. So you wouldn't believe the Bible stories. But someone who's humble does, and they will be rewarded for it. What do you think?
I agree. We see many humble believers in Christ in our government and in big companies all over the world.
Yeah.
It's true. Comfort 1, atheist 0. I really liked the story he told about the children that he had a day camp for. And he then proceeds to refer to half the children as like ungrateful little shits who are just like disgusting little
he was like
bastards.
The brats and the bullies.
Yeah.
The way he graphically showed that too was so funny.
Like, this is not, you're supposed to be nice to children. And like, I guess in that story, like, because the story he tells is like he had kids line up for candy. And the brats and bullies would line up first in line, push their way to the front. And then the meek, sickly, the meek, sickly nerds would sit in the back. And then he like flipped the script on them and went to the end of the line and handed out candy there.
And I said to these kids, 100 kids, line up for candy, kids. And as I looked at this line of 100 kids, at the front were the brats, the bullies. At the back, the quiet, sickly, humble ones. And I thought, that's a line of greed. That really annoys me. So I said, kids, stay where you are, turn around 180 degrees, and don't get out of line, you don't get any candy. So they turned around 180 degrees, and I took great delight in taking my big bag of candy to the humble, meek, much to the annoyance of the brats at the back.
And that was, that's why Bible stories are so crazy.
Right.
You may think I'm missing a step in that analogy, but that was the total analogy.
Yeah, that's all of it. I mean, he says that God just clearly does this with the Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my point is, like, this man should not be in charge of children.
No.
If this is how he's like thinking about them. And also in that story, does that mean that he just assumes that all the asshole kids are like too far gone? They'll never believe in Christ.
Well, that's the other thing.
Even though they're at a fucking Living Waters daycare camp.
I'm sure by the end of it, he gets them to, like, by their own admission, say that they're liars and adulterers.
Oh yeah, all these 8-year-olds say I'm a fornicator. He like, it's also just really interesting because Ray, in my opinion, Ray does seem to have really strong opinions on who's stupid. And I believe Ray my personal belief is that Ray intentionally seeks out people he believes to be stupid to be the subjects of his videos.
Yes.
Like, I actually think that Ray is kind of like, not to use like the word, like, I'm not trying to like over extend the word predatory, but like, I do believe that Ray kind of preys on people who he thinks are malleable to, you know.
Absolutely.
So
I mean, he revealed it just by like, because he likes to put on this image that he's like, oh, I don't hate you, I love you, I'm trying to help everybody, like, reach this, but just by referring to children as brats and like bullies and shit, you can tell he has like prejudices against people.
I agree. I think he resents a lot of people. I do honestly think that, I'm not saying all Christians. Ray would say that I'm saying, I think all Christians are arrogant. They think they know better than everyone. No, I don't believe that. I think that Ray Comfort specifically thinks he knows better than so many people. And like, that comes across greatly in his work. And yeah, so for him to say like, I don't think I'm stretching it too far for him to say the Bible is written like that so stupid people will get it. And I control the stupid people. You know, maybe that's a little bad faith of me to say, but like, I don't know. I just watched the movie and like that was like what I thought he was saying.
Yeah. No, I agree. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
And he's great at it.
He's the best in the biz, baby. I love Ray.
I don't know why I didn't like really like think about it until watching this video of his, but him talking about the existence of God means we have a moral responsibility. Like, he never explains why. He just jumps straight into like, "We ever lied before?"
Yes. Oh yeah. When he talks at the end to that guy who like builds rockets or whatever. Yeah. He's like, so something had to have created nothing, but you don't want to call it God because that implies a moral responsibility. Yeah. It's like, well, again, because his conception of God, there's only one meaning.
Yeah.
And God means Christian God, which has, you know, moral implications as opposed to Christianity. So yeah, in his mind, that means just because I agree that, you know, something created the Big Bang, that means that I'm not allowed to like take eyeliner pencil from CVS, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. He never, in typical Ray Comfort fashion, he just filibusters. He's just like, someone just starts saying something and he's like, well, wait, listen. So this electrician named Fred and like blah, blah, blah. You know, it's just like, oh yeah. So you say that because there is a God, then that means you have to take more responsibility. Have you ever lied before? And you're just like, yeah. Again, if I want to talk to Ray, I don't want to own him. I just want to be like, why are you bringing up lying now? Like what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
You know what, actually, how I would handle it if he talked to me, I would just make sure I said, had two different takes on the same topic every time I could think to, so that I would get a big role in one of his movies.
Yes. Yes.
Like, what? Oh, you got me. I did say that, but you're right.
I believe I referenced this on the Audacity episode, but I will say that a video of Ray's that I don't know how he found this person, but I think it's absolutely genius. But he found some person who says on camera, I think it's okay to rape little kids. Like he literally says that word. He's like, I think you can do whatever you want. Like, I think it's like, you know, if you really want to like rape little kids, like that's okay. And there's like a guy standing next to him and he's like, what?
So you think it's okay to rape little children for fun?
Yes, I think it's okay. I think it's fine. We have total will. We can do whatever we want. That's why, you know, we're here.
And the guy's
incredible.
It's like, how did he find this person?
Yeah.
How many billion people on earth? And he found like this one person who would say that in English to him. And the title of the YouTube video was like, he says it's okay to rape kids. I swear to God.
That's the modern day Sodom and Gomorrah for you, Huntington Beach.
Truly. What else? Anything we should That didn't come up that we should be any other favorite moments.
Oh, I just think we should close on the Bible verse because it's as
Please.
confusing as the entire movie.
Well, what is the closing Bible verse?
It's 1 Corinthians 1:19, and it says, "For it is written, I will destroy the wisdom of the wise and bring to nothing the understanding of the prudent."
Cool. I like that. It's funny. I mean, obviously, because the Bible is like a good piece of art and like a good work of literature. I love hearing it like that. I don't really fully get what it means, but I love hearing it.
Yeah,
like,
it's a cool verse.
The wise should be destroyed.
Absolutely.
But you know who's wise, quote unquote? Ray Comfort. Ray Comfort thinks he knows every fucking answer. Like, as soon as you think you know every answer, you should be destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so funny hearing Ray like put that forward as the thesis statement of his video. Like, I'm humble because I believe the Bible, yet like, you know, I also think I can like literally come up with a script for any situation, like bully people into like believing what I want to believe. It's just like, man.
Yeah, I get confused by people's leaders' interpretations of the Bible, where it's like every answer's in the Bible, so that means I have every answer.
Yes.
And it's like, I don't think that's what that means. I think it means like you can get direction from reading it, not that you know exactly what God is and like how the world works and how everybody should live their lives to the T.
Yeah, absolutely. It just seems to me like Ray, and I don't know Ray personally, obviously. I don't know his personal life, but it seems like he's at the end of his faith journey. He's arrived. And to me, that's just like completely counterintuitive with like the human life and the human brain and how like anyone is supposed to interpret like the Bible or like take a moral journey through life, you know? He operates, at least in his brand and his content and his everything. He's arrived. He did the work. He passed the class. And like, to me, that's just like, that attitude alone just like really turns me off. I think it's like extremely arrogant.
Yeah. Fortunately, he's a good enough editor that we're not turned off at all.
He's one of the best editors. One of the best. Ray rocks. There's just like a tiny moment I wrote down where he asked Jacqueline Glenn, the YouTuber, he was just like, "Well, are you afraid of death?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm afraid of death." And he's like, "It's called the Grim Reaper." You ever heard of him? So funny.
I liked the guy who was like, he was like, "What are you reading?" And he was like, the Inferno by Dante.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, is that about hell?" And he was like really interested in that. And then later on he was like, "So when you die, do you think you're going to go to heaven or do you think you're going to go to Dante's Inferno?"
So wow, you genius.
Stupid.
It might as well have been any book when he's putting it like that.
Yeah.
Are you going to hell or are you going to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry? Well, crazy Bible.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can all agree the Bible is some pretty trippy stuff. I bet if you smoked a big fat doink and read the Bible, you'd think about it in a different way. You ever think what this burning bush that Moses was talking to? You ever wonder what that could have been?
Whoa.
Just saying.
Yeah, right. And we're not talking about an anti-Iraq war protest.
We sure aren't. Because we agree with the Iraq war.
That is true, yeah.
We agree with George W. Bush. How do we rate Crazy Bible? What do we think about this one? What's the official Boys Bible Study rating?
I'm going to give it 10 out of 10 amazing atheists. Because it was the craziest film I've seen this year.
I'm going to give it 1 out of 1 stock photos of a dimwit.
Oh my God. The part when he's like, what does he say? Like, why does he say the word dimwit?
I don't know.
He says they think I'm a dimwit or something.
Yeah, and then it puts up he typed in the word dimwit into YouTube and into Google, and it lingers on the stock photo for like a full like 20 seconds. This is fucking scary. I mean, we're putting a still of it on Instagram, like no question. Like we wrote down the timestamp it was specifically so we could do that. So look for it there. if you don't watch the film yourself. But like it's just like, what is this art? Like, where did you find this? We're like, what is this supposed to be? And we rewound just to be short, and it's like a dimwit, and that's like when the image changed. It's incredible.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to give this film, Crazy Bible. I loved it. It's like yet one of like I don't know how many hundred entries into Ray Comfort's content catalog that are just like genius. I'm gonna have to give this film 3 out of 3 times that Penn Jillette denied Ray Comfort on camera, because this film was perfect in every way. I mean, the premier interviewer, editor, creator of our time, Ray Comfort, Living Waters. Come on the show. I know you won't, because we like you. We don't agree with you, but we love you. And maybe I'm patting ourselves on the back too much, but I think that worldview is probably unfamiliar to Ray, and maybe he doesn't have a script for that. But maybe I'm just setting myself up to be
comforted.
I'm gonna get comforted. I'm getting comforted in a big way. Let's get comfortable.
Let's pitch that show to him that we do regularly with him called Let's Get Comfortable.
I love that. Let's Get Comfortable with Boys Bible Study and Ray Comfort. It's a weekly. I would abandon the podcast to do a weekly show with Ray Comfort, the three of us.
The whole point will just be to show that it's okay to disagree with each other.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much to everyone who listened. We really appreciate you checking out Boys Bible Study. If you haven't already subscribed, please go to boysbiblestudy.com. There's links on there to all your podcast apps where you can find our show. So please check it out. Also, thank you so much to our generous patrons. We just surpassed, we have now 100 subscribers on the Boys Bible Study Patreon, which is a huge milestone for us. We're really proud of. Thank you so much for your support. Feel free to join us. You'll get episodes every week if you're subscribed to our Patreon, as opposed to our free episodes every other week. So check out patreon.com/Boys Bible Study. Special shout outs to our patrons on the $20 tier. We couldn't do it without your generous support. Nicole, Marissa, Jeff, and Jane. Our outro music, as always, is the song Oh My God by Mary. And from all of us here at Boys Bible Study, myself, my co-hosts, Scott and Julian, we would like to say, peace be with you.
And also with you.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I feel your love in me, it's coming from within. Oh my God, my devotion is so unwavering. Divine emotions when you enter me.